century, Japan was in shambles, without an emperor to save it or a government to protect it. This was the Sengoku Jidal, a time when a master could go down to be a peasant, and a peasant could rise to be a master, and anyone could be killed by their closest ally.
After Kyoto was burned to the ground, the concept of Gekkokojo took hold. The low overcome the high. Over the century of chaos, hundreds of warlords fought for power.
But Japan's fate would be decided by three men. One who would break it, one who would rebuild it, and one who ruled forever. To understand this period, we must understand the concept of Gekkokoji, which translates to the low overcomes the high. For a long time, Japan followed a strict hierarchy of emperors and shoguns ruling. But by peasant-led rebellions in the mid-1400s, this system ended.
The spark was the Onin War in 1467, which started from a dispute between two ruling powers. Shogun Ashikaga Yoshimasa initially named his brother as his heir, but later had a son, forming a big rivalry. The resulting conflict turned the capital, Kyoto, into an apocalyptic war zone for over 10 years. By the time the war had ended, the shogunate was powerless, leaving Japan fractured into over 250 individual territories.
New warlords emerged during the daimyo era. These men were brutal and relied on their military prowess and cunningness. They erected stone castles that acted as military bases and also as economic headquarters.
Historically, samurai warfare consisted of mounted elites engaging in honorable one-to-one archery duels. The Sengoku period replaced this with mass conscription, which is the assignment of general civilians to an army. The army is trained as a group, unlike when the samurai were individually trained by their previous wielders. Armies were now filled with ashigaru, lightly armoured foot soldiers drawn from the peasantry, wielding massive spikes in disciplined formations. This was warfare at a far larger level. A Portuguese ship wrecked on the southern island of Tanegashima, introducing European matchlock muskets to Japan. Japanese blacksmiths quickly reverse-engineered them, while traditional samurai despised these weapons as dishonorably simple, allowing a peasant foot soldier to kill a lifelong samurai from a distance. Shrewd Dynamo realized that guns would decide the future for Japan. Meanwhile, a man named Oda Nobunaga started as a minor warlord that managed to defeat a rival army that had 10 times his men. He was a ruthless ruler who realized the power of firearms and used unique and innovative battle strategies to defeat his enemies. He ruled through absolute terror and called himself the Demon King. When Buddhist monks criticized him, he marched on their holy mountain, burnt centuries-old temples, and killed hundreds of monks. But his arrogance would be his downfall, as he was turned on by his men and burnt.
Out of Nobunaga's ashes, Toyotomi Hideyoshi rose. Upon hearing Nobunaga's death, he executed a fast operation to kill the men that turned on him, successfully making himself Nobunaga's political heir. Hideyoshi was known as a master diplomat. He diverted rivers to flood enemies' castles, used strategic marriages and bribes, and eventually destroyed the last independent daimyo, successfully unifying Japan. However, Hideyoshi was scared someone would do the exact same as he did, so he enacted the Great Sword Hut, which meant no one would change their social class. He then attempted to invade areas in Korea, but lost many resources and respect.
Following Hideyoshi's death, Japan split into two factions: the Western Army, loyal to Hideyoshi's son, and the Eastern Army, loyal to Tokugawa Ieyasu, Japan's third great unifier. The armies met at Sekigahara in 1600. It was the ultimate climax to the Sengoku period. Ieyasu had been secretly bribing Western armies, so ultimately won the battle, making Ieyasu Japan's emperor.
Ieyasu named Tokyo the capital and created the Sanjin Kotai system, for forcing warlords to live in Tokyo every other year, leaving their families as hostages. The Sengoku period ended at Osaka Castle, where Hideyoshi's son was killed by samurai ordered by Tokugawa Ieyasu. The age of wars is finally over.